teammate DeAndre Hopkins posted on Instagram yesterday campaigning for Watt to join him in Arizona. So, Brian, where should the great J.J. Watt go?
You know, Chris, when I think about it, it's time for J.J. Watt to get Super Bowls. It's time to get rings. He wasn't able to do that down there in Houston. To me, there's only two teams that he should even consider. Green Bay. Of course, you got Aaron Rodgers. That puts you at least in the NFC Championship game by itself. But that Packers defense needs to find some more toughness. J.J. Watt offers that. And then the Buffalo Bills. You know, they have a good defense already. I love Leslie Frazier as a defensive coordinator. But if they can add another guy that can make plays on the defensive side of the ball at the line of scrimmage, I think that takes that defense to a next level. So those are the two teams that I'm thinking about there, Chris.
Yeah, sorry to D-Hop, but I'm with you. I don't think he should be looking at Arizona. I think it should be Super Bowl or bust for him. Cleveland, most people wouldn't say they're going to win a Super Bowl, but he could definitely help that team. There's no doubt. Pittsburgh, no Super Bowl, even though he could go there with his brothers. I'm with you on Green Bay. I like him there. He's from Wisconsin, played at Wisconsin, has talked, emotionally about watching the Packers practice when he was a kid and all that. So I would like to see him go to Green Bay, help that defense, and help Aaron Rodgers maybe get another ring. So I think he should head up to the frozen tundra where Greg used to ball.
Yeah, I hear you guys, and that would be good. The one pushback that I would have on the Green Bay Packers is J.J. Watt is the type of player that wants to play with space, and what that looks like for a defensive lineman, Brian, is when he has others that can pressure the quarterback. And yes, they have Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith, but up front, I just don't know if they have enough with just Kenny Clark. And J.J. Watt he's a hand in the dirt type of a guy, especially this stage in his career. For me, it's Tampa Bay. They could potentially lose Shaq Barrett and insert in a J.J. Watt, a guy who can still rush the passer, who's going to have space created because of the amount of pressure that they are able to get. And Todd Bowles will draw up some things that will make J.J. Watt become elite all over again. Not saying that he's not, but he's not the J.J. Watt of old. I like J.J. Watt getting the Super Bowl, as you both mentioned, getting a chance to win it. This is what it's about for him, winning a Super Bowl, and I think his chances will be best suited down in Tampa.
All right, guys, let's move on to Dak Prescott. He took to Instagram and confirmed his desire to play for the Cowboys next season in a back and forth with tight end Blake Jarwin. Brian, this contract saga has dragged on. It's just crazy at this point. Is it time for the Cowboys to go ahead and sign Dak to a long-term deal?
If I was a Cowboys fan, which I'm obviously not, my question would be, what are we doing? Why haven't we signed Dak Prescott yet? I mean, what exactly more do you need to see? He was on pace this year to have a record-breaking year. He had his best season of all of his seasons in 2019. Dak Prescott is the glue that holds this franchise together, especially offensively, but he's also the face of the franchise. He's the guy that steps up and says the right thing at the right time. He does all the right things for your organization, even when sometimes your owner doesn't say the right things. To me, what else do you want from a guy? You got production, you got the face of the franchise, and a great leader. The people in that locker room respect him. What else can you ask from a quarterback? I think it's been overdue. The payment of Dak Prescott. He deserves a long-term deal, and there's no doubt about that.
Well, Brian, there's a report out there that Russell Wilson is eyeing the Dallas Cowboys. Now, if I'm the Cowboys, I'm doing my due diligence on that. I'm seeing if that's true. I'm seeing if I can get a hold of Russell Wilson and get him down in Dallas. That would be my first option. Now, maybe that's a pipe dream. Maybe the report is wrong. But I'd rather have Russell Wilson. If I can't get him, then yeah, I have to sign Dak. And I like Dak a lot. I think the Cowboys have blown this thing. They could have just given him the 4-year deal last year. They wanted 5, he wanted 4. They should have just given him what they wanted. In the long run, it wouldn't cost them as much money. Now, you got to maybe franchise him at $38 million or give him, $40 million per that he reportedly is looking for at this point. So they've let it drag out too long. And when you have a guy that may not be he's not a top 5 quarterback, maybe not elite, but he is a franchise quarterback. He's a guy you can win big with. You got to lock him up. Again, if you can't get Russell Wilson, Greg.
Yeah, it's been time for the Dallas Cowboys to sign Dak Prescott. And it's unfortunate that he suffered the injury this year that ended his season early in the season, because he was on a rampage to start the season. And we gotta remember, this is a quarterback that was in question. Can he carry the team, or does he need the supporting cast to support what he does? Early in his career, yes, that was the case. But then the year before last, and then this start of this past season, he showed that, no, I don't need all these pieces. They need me. And I'm the glue, like you said, Brian, that keeps this offense steamrolling the way that we can be. It's other things that needs to happen for that team to start winning. But as far as Dak Prescott is concerned, pay that man.
All right, let's move on to San Francisco. Pro Football Talk's Mike Florio predicted that the 49ers will release Jimmy G instead of trading him. He cites that his contract is a potential roadblock to a deal. Now, Brian, do the Niners need to upgrade from Jimmy G at quarterback?
Yes, they do. And I'm not a big Jimmy G hater. I just think that he has a ceiling, and he's probably already reached that ceiling. In order for us to, they have to have a great defense, and they have to have a great game plan from Kyle Shanahan. They also have to not turn the football over, and then Jimmy G can go out there and play a great game. You don't always get that week in and week out. So that means you need good quarterback play from for the most part, week in, week out. And I don't know that Jimmy G can play at that elite level every single week of the NFL season. So in order for them to get over that, get to that next level as a team, maybe potentially return to the Super Bowl like they were a couple years ago, they need better play at the quarterback position, and that probably is a different quarterback.
Brian, I think need is too strong. I get his warts. You know, like you said, he's not elite every Sunday. That's for darn sure. And he's injury prone. That's really the biggest issue, is that he's rarely on the field. But when he is on the field, he wins. They are 24-8 with Jimmy Garoppolo as the starter there. They were 3-3 last year, which isn't great with Jimmy G, but they were 3-7 without him. This dude has something about him that leads guys to win. And let's not forget, they were not only in the Super Bowl, but they were up on the vaunted Kansas City Chiefs by 10 points with 8 minutes left. I get it. He missed the long throw that could have sealed the deal, but still, he's not a bad quarterback. If I can go out and get a Deshaun Watson or somebody that's better, fine, I'll do it. But if Jimmy G is healthy, the defense is healthy, I do think this is a team that can get back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm with you, Chris. They don't need to upgrade. They would like to. They wanted to upgrade last year. They wanted to acquire Tom Brady if they could make it happen, but it didn't happen. It didn't work out. So when you look at Tom or this team in the 49ers and what they've been able to do, and they got to the Super Bowl the year before with Jimmy Garoppolo not being the focal point. It was their running attack. It was their defense. Jimmy Garoppolo at the quarterback position was a third wheel. In this league, you can only do that if you have the pieces around that support what you have under center. And Kyle Shanahan is a huge part of that. That's why they don't need to upgrade, but they would like to upgrade because they want to show this league that they are a team to be reckoned with and that they have a quarterback that will get the job done guaranteed. I get that he wins, but he didn't win when it mattered most. And so with that, you leave the door open for somebody to come and take your team.
Brian, let me ask you this. If the Niners do move on from Jimmy G, do you think New England should go ahead and sign him?
Well, New England, just like Greg was mentioning, if you want to be a winning football team, you have to have a quarterback. We've seen and we know that Josh McDaniels and Jimmy G have a relationship, so I think that would be a great fit. If you're the Patriots, absolutely, I'm going after him. He's not going to make the big mistakes, and that's the Patriot way, not making the mistakes. You don't have to be the greatest of all time. But as long as you don't make mistakes, you put the team in a position to win. I think the Patriots at least believe that Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels can scheme themselves into winning football games. And I think that's exactly the type of quarterback that Jimmy G is. He's not going to take you to that ultimate goal, that Super Bowl. But if you have all those other pieces, like Greg mentioned, I think he can help you win a lot of games.
Yeah, this would be a no-brainer to me. I mean, Belichick has to be chomping at the bit to try to get Jimmy G back in New England. He knows the system. Obviously, Belichick and that coaching staff believe in him. And we talked earlier about, is Tom Brady kind of trying to prove, that he can win without Belichick? I'm not sure about that, but I am more confident that Belichick wants to prove he can win without Tom Brady. He thought he could do it with Jimmy G a few years ago. So I definitely think that would be a great move for New England, Greg.
I'm not so certain. I know there's history. I know there's a rapport. But with the team and the way they're constructed, you look at the skill guys, you look at their running attack, you look at their offensive line, it doesn't support what Jimmy Garoppolo needs. And when you look at what he has in San Francisco, that he has a good offensive line, that they run the ball effective very well, one of the best running attacks in the National Football League when healthy, and then they have playmakers outside. So it's all suited up for him. If you make that trade and you go after Jimmy Garoppolo and you bring him to New England, what does he have around him to support him? That would be my only concern for Jimmy Garoppolo.